that are in that report. It's important to have departmental. And
you are the one to make sure that it is done. County secretary is here. Yeah. Yeah. See, public service.
Yes, the other CEC member present. Just one second.
I would like to tell you, to avoid any problems, implement this document to the letter and let every person here play a role. The chief officers, the directors of various departments, you are the AIE holders, and you are the ones who will actually be in problem. Now we've said we will be targeting individuals singly. We cannot say put a blanket cover on the whole county. If it is your department which has a problem in finance, people will go for you. If it is procurement, and by the way, 80% of cases that go to court are related to procurement. So if you implement e-procurement, you'll be good to go and you'll never have any problem. And by the way, don't think all counties have problems. Some counties don't have problems. So just implement your role and make sure you do what is right. For heaven's sake, even help us. Because it is so bad, Your Excellency. We investigate one scandal, people are taken to court, PSS are in court, ministers are done, and then the following month, a major scandal, the biggest one again comes up. Why? Kindly just implement what is supposed to be there.
As the governor of the county, I'm committed to fighting and, if possible, eradicating corruption in our county. To be able to do that, the most important thing to do is to put up very effective and efficient governance systems. And I'm happy to note that the report that has been presented to us has actually focused on the systems, governance systems. So I want to thank Eacc for that effort they have made and for their candid exposure of our weaknesses in various systems. I wish to admit from the onset that when we took over the leadership of Eacc County after the election of 8th August 2017, we faced a lot of challenges. And the main challenges were that there were no systems, no proper documented systems in place. And that gave us a lot of challenge, and I must admit that 2018 was my most difficult time as a politician and as a manager, because we had to work overtime to try to put systems in place that were not there, or if they were there, they were not documented, and if they were documented, they were not being implemented. And more important, there was serious lack of capacity of the staff and requisite equipment to implement those systems that were in place. And there was also just gross mismanagement. So that was a difficult period, but I want to thank God that we are over that period. We have put the systems in place, but we still have a lot of teething problems. And as been highlighted in the reports, we still have to address many governance issues that we are not currently handling as expected. And therefore we have a challenge as the leadership of the county to do so. And I'm happy that all the CEC, chief officers and directors, you have come over to listen to the content of this report, and we receive it. I receive it on your behalf. We have people getting impressed to go on various assignments, but when they come back, they don't retire or they don't account for the interest. So you find at the end of the year, we have millions of shillings that have not been accounted for. So the issue of interest, I believe, is something that we need to address because it's a persistent problem. And I think the biggest problem we have with the people of finance is on this issue of interest. The chief officers, you get interest, but you don't account for it, but you go demanding more money from the finance. So when the finance say no, account for what we gave you, then you say finance is frustrating you. So I want to be on the side of the finance people and tell you that chief officers, you must account for the money that you are given before you go to demand for replenishment. The other area again where they have noted, which is also a perennial problem to us, is in the area of training. As the officer has clearly said, we have sourced you through rigorous interviews. So you are qualified. So it beats logic after you are sourced rigorously among so many applicants. When you come on board, the first thing you want to go for training in management, in leadership. So basically what you are saying is that the recruitment process was not right. Because if it was right, you're already qualified, you are already experienced. So why do you want to go for more training? So that's an area that has been an area of concern and has always elicited a lot of controversy and a lot of bitterness when we reject you are going for further training. And then also workshops and conferences. Somehow, counties are the best ground where the national government has found out that if they want any workshop or conference, they simply write a letter and say, we want CEC, we want chief officer to come for a conference. And they know very well that they are not going to spend any money on them. The county government will spend money on the ticket, will spend money on their night out, and the agencies and the donors and whatever partners, they'll only give you tea and lunch. So you find we're spending so much of our money on these unnecessary conferences and workshops, particularly in Nairobi. So I personally, I have been against them, but sometimes you people come and convince me. But I would tell you that I feel that we are getting a raw deal because the national government has found out a loophole that they have their money, but they can only call us to go to attend. So their money out there is only to facilitate small things. But now the counties, we are spending most of our money, which we should be putting into development or other productive ventures rather than going to these workshops. And even when we assume you have gone to the workshop and it's good, one thing that is not clear, I didn't hear them say, but I'm sure it's in the report. When you come back from those workshops, you don't give us the reports. You just walk there and walk back. So when the auditors come and the CEC is here will tell you for finance, they will say, the chief officer for health went to Nairobi for this workshop, or Mombasa, which is the most popular place to go. Where is you paid him or her 20 or 30,000 shillings to do? Where is the report? There's no report in the file. It's only the requisition and the payment voucher, but there's no report. So you find we are being, the auditors will come in and say, look, there's no justification for all this. So if you are going to go on any of these workshops and conferences, when you come back, the first thing you should write the report of what benefit did that workshop give us, and how are you going to convert that, whatever you learned in that workshop, into the benefit for the people of Eacc. So that to me is something that's very crucial, and it must be done. And particularly those who go overseas, because we have sent some of you to overseas training courses, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but we just came back. We only saw you had changed a little, you were looking nice, and that's all what we saw. But we didn't see anything else. No report, no nothing, and no change in the way you transact business.